Good morning to everyone. Today we will learn the 10th standard chemistry. In the last class, we have learnt about the periodic classification of elements. That is the feature of periods, feature of groups, the arrangement of different elements in the periodic table. I hope you are following the everyday classes and then you are doing the assignment regularly. Yesterday I asked you to study the atomic number of different 30 elements, their electronic configuration. So today we will learn the periodic trends in property. So yesterday I asked you to write the electronic configuration of 30 elements. Why? Because the electronic configuration help us to explain the trends, periodic trends in physical and chemical property. That is the properties will be related to the electronic configuration, or the arrangement of electron will decide the physical and chemical property of different elements. So only I asked you to write the electronic configuration of different elements. So today we will see the periodic trends in property. So here what is this periodic property? Anything which repeats itself at regular interval. Anything which repeats itself. Anything which repeats itself at regular interval. At regular interval is known as periodic property. Is known as periodic property, and the phenomenon is known as periodicity. Periodic property and the phenomenon is known as periodicity. So here in the periodic table, the properties are repeated for different elements. So that is anything which repeats itself at regular interval is known as periodic property or periodicity. So here the electronic configuration helps us to explain the chemical and physical property of different elements. Now today, what are the periodic property? So today we are going to learn this atomic radius. Atomic radius, then ionic radii, ionization energy, then electron affinity and electronegativity. Electron affinity and electronegativity are the periodic properties. So these are the properties we are going to explain: the atomic radius, ionic radii, ionization energy, electron affinity. So today we will see what is this atomic radius. So here this atomic radius is nothing but it is the distance between the center of the nucleus and the outermost shell containing the valence electron. For example, here this is one atom. What is this atomic radius? It is the distance between the center of the nucleus and the outermost shell containing what? Valence electron. That is known as the atomic radius. So here it is very difficult to measure the atomic radius of isolated atom. So except for noble gases, the atomic radius can also be called as metallic radius. Metallic radius and covalent radius. Metallic radius and covalent radius. So what is this metallic radius? It is mainly applicable for the metal atom. It is half the distance between the two adjacent metal atom. Metallic radius is nothing but half the distance between the two adjacent metal atom. Half the distance between the two adjacent metal atom is what our metallic radius. And this covalent radius is applicable to non-metallic nucleus. It is half the distance between the two adjacent nuclei of the covalently bonded atoms in a molecule, or it is half the distance between the nuclei of the two covalently bonded atoms in a molecule. That is known as covalent radius. For example, this hydrogen, the half the distance between the two covalently bonded atoms in a molecule is known as what? Covalent radius or non-metallic radius. Here, the covalent radius are found to be 0.74 angstrom. When you divide half, you know that half the distance the atomic radius decreases. What is this atomic radius? It is the distance between the nuclei and outermost shell containing the valence electron of an atom. It is known as what? Atomic radius. Here, in a period, the atomic radius decreases. Period, the atomic radius decreases, and in a group, the atomic radius increases. In group, what happens? The atomic radius, it increases. What is the reason for the decrease and increase in the period and the group? For example, in the period, the electrons are added to the same shell. So this reasons you have to keep it in mind, because we are going to explain the same reason for all the periodic properties. So here the shell number is same. Shell number is same. That is, the electrons are added to the same shell. Electrons are added to same shell. Same shell. Here the atomic number increases. Here the atomic number increases. Where in a period the atomic number increases. Our atomic number is nothing but what is called the number of protons and number of electrons. So here the atomic number increases, what happens? The number of proton increases. So when the number of proton increases, the proton, its positive charge will pull the electron towards itself. Since the electron is negatively charged, this proton will pull the electron towards itself. Naturally, what will happen when the positive charge pulls the electron towards itself? The size of the atom will shrink. So it causes the reduction in the size of the atom in a period. Again, I tell you, period, the atomic radius decreases. Why? The shell number is same. Because the electrons are added to the same shell. And here what happened? The atomic number increases when you move from left to right in a period. Yesterday I told that horizontal rows are called period. Or when you move from left to right, it is called what? Period. So in a period, what happens? The atomic number increases. What is this atomic number? It is nothing but the number of proton. So when the number of proton positively charged ion increases, it will pull the negatively charged electron towards itself, and this causes the atom to shrink. So when the electrons are pulled towards the nuclei, the atom will shrink. When the atom shrinks, the atomic size increases. The opposite reason, you have to write the opposite reason for this one, for group. In group, the atomic radius increases. So what you write? In the group, the shell number is not same, it increases. And in the group, the electrons are added to not same shell, new shell. And so since the number of shell increases, what happens? The distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell increases. So when the number of shell increases, the distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell increases. And actually what will happen? The atomic radius will increase. So the opposite reason for period you have to write for group. So in group what happens? Shell number increases, electrons are added to new shell, and here what happens? The electrons are away from the nucleus, or the distance between the nucleus and the valence electron is more. So the atomic size increases in that group. This is the periodic trend. For example, lithium to boron, the atomic radius decreases. So you can give one example like that. So this is about what? Atomic radius. So in atomic radius you have to remember that the metallic atoms, it is called metallic radius. For non-metallic atom, it is called non-metallic radius. And now we will see the ionic radius. Ionic radius is nothing but the distance between the nuclei of the ion up to the point where it has an influence on the electron cloud of the ion. So ionic radius is applicable to ions. We know that whenever a neutral atom loses electron, that is minus electron, what will happen when it loses electron? It forms a positive ion that is called cation. And whenever a neutral atom gains electron, plus electron, then it forms a negatively charged ion called anion. So anion, it is negative, cation, it is positive. Anion, it is formed by the gain of electron, and cation, it is formed by the loss of electron. So what about the size? The size of cation will be smaller. Size of cation will be lesser than the parent atom. greater than the parent atom. This you have to remember. So whenever an atom loses or gains electron, cation and anion is formed, and the size of the cation will be lesser than the parent atom, and the size of the anion will be greater than the parent atom. Then what about the periodic trend? What happens to the ionic radii along the period and along the group? So in the period, what happened? The same reason, the electrons are added to the same shell, and here the atomic number also increases, and since the atomic number increases, the positively charged proton will attract the electron towards itself, and what will happen? The ionic radii decreases in the period. So ionic radius in period it decreases, and ionic radius in group it increases. So in group what happened? Here the electrons are added to the new shell, and since the cell number increases, as well as there will be more shielding effect. So in your instant book, the shielding or screening effect is not mentioned. The inner shell will screen the outer electrons from the nucleus, or the nuclear charge will decrease. So when the nuclear charge decreases in the group, what happened? The ionic radius along the group increases, and the ionic radius of period decreases. So the same reason you have to write for the ionic radius. So that is the reasons you have to remember properly. Then only you can write for each and every periodic property. And then we'll see the ionization energy. What is this ionization energy? The minimum amount of energy required to remove an electron, loosely bound electron, from an isolated neutral gaseous atom is known as ionization energy. So the amount of energy required to remove the most loosely bound electron from neutral gaseous atom is called what? Ionization energy. So this ionization energy is also known as ionization enthalpy. So it is another important concept. Ionization energy is also known as ionization enthalpy. It is expressed in kilojoule per mole. And when you compare the first ionization energy and the second ionization energy, so already we have removed one electron. Again we are going to remove another electron. Then what about the ionization energy? The second ionization energy will be greater than the first ionization energy. What is this first ionization energy? The energy used to remove one electron. Again we are removing another one electron from that atom. Then what happens? The ionization energy increases. So the second ionization energy will be greater than the first ionization energy. So what about the periodic trend? How the ionization energy increases or decreases in period? Here you have to remember, when the positive charge increases, size of cation decreases. So when the positive charge increases, size of cation decreases. What is this positive charge? When it loses electron, the size will shrink. So what happened? The size of cation will naturally decrease. So when the positive charge increases, size of cation decreases. What about the negative ion? When the negative charge increases, size of anion. So negative charge comes when you remember the anion. Size of anion will increase. So when the negative charge increases, size of anion will increase. So this is you have to remember. When the positive charge increases, size of cation increases. When the negative charge increases, size of anion increases. Then what about the ionization energy in a period and in a group? So ionization energy in a period it increases, and ionization energy in group it decreases. The ionization energy in a period it increases, and ionization energy in group it decreases. So ionization energy in period, what happened? The electrons are added to the same shell. So here the distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell it decreases. Since the size of the atom decreases, more amount of energy isolated gaseous atom. So the ionization energy in period it increases, whereas in group the electrons are added to the new shell or the shell number increases and the distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell it increases. So the electrons will be freely moving or they are loosely bound. So only minimum amount of energy is required to remove an electron present in the group. So here the ionization energy in group it decreases. Then we will see the electron affinity. Electron affinity is the amount of energy released from an isolated neutral gaseous atom to form its anion. Electron affinity is the amount of energy released from an isolated neutral gaseous atom to form its anion. That is known as electron affinity. It can also be expressed as EA. EA is expressed in kilojoule per mole, kJ per mole. So EA is expressed in kilojoule per mole. Here we will write one example. For example, this is the A. It gains one electron to form an anion plus energy. And one example you can give is the Cl. Cl gains one electron to form Cl minus ion plus energy. So here in this reaction energy is released. So since energy is released, it is nothing but what? The electron affinity. And another important thing you have to remember is electron affinity for noble gases are 0. Electron affinity for noble gases are 0. This is a very important one word you have to remember while you are learning. Why this electron affinity for noble gases are 0? We know that noble gases have completely filled configuration. That is, all the orbitals will be completely filled. Since it is completely filled, it is very stable. Since it is very stable, what happened? We cannot again add more electron. Why here? What is this electron affinity? It is the amount of energy released when an isolated neutral gaseous atom accepts an electron to form an anion. So here already it is completely filled. We cannot add further more electron to the elements. So in the noble gases, the electron affinity is 0. So it is a very important one word. Electron affinity for noble gases are 0. That you have to remember. So this is about the electron affinity. It is also expressed in kilojoule per mole. That you can remember. Then electronegativity. So electronegativity is nothing but it is the tendency of an atom in a molecule to attract the shared pair of electron towards itself. Electronegativity is nothing but the tendency of an atom in a molecule to attract the shared pair of electron towards itself. It is also expressed in kilojoule per mole. So you have to remember. So all the ionization energy, electron affinity, electronegativity is expressed in kilojoule per mole. And here this electronegativity is the amount of energy. So it is the measure of the tendency of an atom in a molecule to attract the electrons of the shared pair of electron towards itself. I will give one example. Consider the formation of HCl. Here a bond is formed. A covalent bond is formed. What is a covalent bond? A bond formed by mutual sharing of electron. So here this bond accepts one electron from hydrogen and the Cl also gives one electron. Both of them share one electron and form a bond. That is the HCl bond. So when you break this bond, what happens? Or how this bond is formed? The Cl will pull the shared pair. For example, one bond is formed by one pair of electron. One pair contains two electrons. The pair is fully pulled by the Cl. Cl will have a strong pull while the Cl is highly electronegative. Cl, since it is negative, it will accept the electron. So it will accept the shared pair of electron from hydrogen also. This hydrogen is very weak and it has weak pull. So when the bond breaks, the positive ion is formed, H plus, the Cl minus is formed. So this is the tendency of an atom in a molecule to attract the shared pair of electron towards itself. Which is that molecule? Cl. The tendency of an atom in a molecule to attract the shared pair. Which attracts the shared pair? Cl attracts the shared pair of electron towards itself. So this is what? This is electronegativity. It is expressed in kilojoule per mole. Then some of the electronegativity values are given. Fluorine it is 4.0, chlorine 3.8, bromine 2.8 and this and then this iodine 2.5, then hydrogen it is 1, sodium it is 2.1. Okay, so these are some of the electronegativity values for halogen as well as hydrogen and sodium. Then what about the measure of electronegativity? The electronegativity can be measured using Pauling scale. So Pauling scale, very important one, but Pauling scale is used to measure the electronegativity, and from the values of bond energy, ionization energy and electron affinity we can measure what? The electronegativity. So from these terms we can measure the electronegativity, and using this Pauling method or Pauling scale we will measure the electronegativity. When the electronegativity difference is equal to 1.7, then the nature of bond. So this Pauling scale is used to explain the nature of bonding. So when the electronegativity difference is equal to 1.7, then it is 50%, the bond is 50% ionic plus 50% covalent. So when the electronegativity difference is equal to 1.7, then the bond is 50% ionic and 50% covalent. When the electronegativity difference it is less than 1.7, when the electronegativity difference is less than 1.7, then the bond is covalent. When the electronegativity difference is greater than 1.7, then the bond is ionic. So this you have to remember. This can also be asked in one word. When the difference in electronegativity is equal to 1.7, it is 50% ionic and 50% covalent. When the electronegativity difference is less than 1.7, the bond is covalent. When the electronegativity difference is greater than 1.7, the bond is ionic. Then what about the periodic trend? Then what about the electronegativity in period? Electronegativity in period, it increases. In group, it decreases. The same reason you have to explain. Here the electrons are added to the period. The electrons are added to the same shell, and the shell number is same, and the distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell decreases. Nuclear charge increases. Screening effect decreases. And since the proton, the atomic number increases, the protons are attracted towards the nucleus. So here the tendency to attract will be greater in a period, whereas in a group the electronegativity decreases. The same reasons you have to write. The electrons are added to the new shell, and here the distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell it will increase. Since it increases, the nuclear charge decreases, and the shielding effect will what happen? It will increase. So since it increases, the electronegativity will increase in a group. So in this lesson we have learned the periodic trends in property, and here the short answer that we can expect is periodicity, periodic property. Then all the definition for atomic radius, ionic radius, ionization energy, then electron affinity, electronegativity, all the definition you can expect in short answer. Then one word, the unit. For example, this ionization energy, electron affinity, electronegativity is expressed in kilojoule per mole. Then these values. So this electronegativity is measured using the Pauling scale. Pauling scale is used to determine the nature of bonding, and this one word. The difference in electronegativity is equal to 1.7, then it is 50% ionic and 50% covalent. If the difference in electronegativity is less than 1.7, then it is covalent, and when it is greater than 1.7, then it is ionic. So these are the one words you can expect from this lesson. So I want you to write only the definitions, that is the periodicity, ionization energy, ionic radius, atomic radius, electron affinity, electronegativity as an assignment. So you write all the definitions as an assignment. So this definition you have to write as an assignment and present it. Okay, definition you have to write as an assignment. So this is the assignment for today. I hope you have understood today's class. It is very important to remember all the keywords. Already I told what are the keywords. That is the shell number, the nuclear charge, shielding effect, distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell, atomic number, everything you have to remember, you have to mention when you write this. Periodic trends in property, this will be again repeated in 11th standard as well as 12th standard portion. So it is very important to understand and learn. Again I will tell you have to understand, write, and then you learn. Okay, so I hope you understood today's class. Thank you for listening to me.